Guys, I'm so sorry. It is long overdue for the next episode of my Ninjago season ranking. And today we have an interesting one because this is the first season we are going to be discussing from Dragons Rising. And it's a little bit of a controversial one, at least the second half of it is, if that tells you anything. Because today we are going to be looking at Dragons Rising Season 3. Now, I really wish the Dragons Rising seasons actually had names. That's one of my biggest complaints about everything that's changed. I like I don't know, part 1, part 2 format. I think that's kind of cool. So happy they brought back 22-minute format. But this is just not Dragons Rising in general. It's just Season 3. So I won't talk with too much about that stuff. But it is a factor, so we will talk a little bit about that. But let's just start this video talking about in-universe, some of the good, and then we'll shift towards the bad. And I don't really have much to say for the bad. I'm just going to go ahead and give that disclaimer. It's not that bad of a season. It's just not that great. Like, we're kind of getting to that area where it's kind of like just which one do I like the best or which one is better in general. And people think this is really poor quality. It's not that bad. I especially like the first part, and that might be a little bit of a hot take. I should probably, I don't know, get into the Ninjago community, ask you guys which parts of Dragons Rising you guys like better. I don't know. I feel like part 1 of Dragons Rising Season 3 is actually fire. Like, it's really good. I love the whole aesthetic. I love just regular Thunderfang. I thought Spectral Thunderfang was a push, but it made sense in the context of the storyline. I kind of wanted to see Thunderfang do more. I wanted to see him wreck Ninjago City. I guess they're saving the whole Ninjago City thing because we haven't seen a lot of Ninjago City. The main city has been the Crossroads, but I think there is a leak, and I think that they're saving that for Season 4, Part 2, which we probably won't be covering in our Ninjago season ranking. I'll see if we can fit it in there somewhere, but I'm just not sure, like, if we've passed the point where it would be. I mean, Part 1 was really good, or if it would come in later. I just don't know, right? There's a lot of variables to consider since I started this series before we got rest Part 2. So maybe I can finish this before Part 2 comes out, and then we can just do a video on Dragons Rising Season 4, just in general. That'll be a pretty fun video. There's a lot to talk about, and it's not my favorite season of Dragons Rising, like a lot of other people say it is. I don't know. But this is about Dragons Rising Season 3. So let's go ahead. I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to go over the story as we're starting this video. I promise I'll make this brief, but there's so much in Dragons Rising. Like, there's a lot more to explore, a lot more to talk about the setting. We'll get into that a lot more in Dragons Rising Season 1. Talk about how fresh the setting feels, but by Dragons Rising Season 3, it's more or less like Season 1, you're like introduced to all this. Season 2, it's like, oh wow, like this is very expensive, and your lore of the merged lands is expanded. And then Dragons Rising Season 3 is just further expanding. And I think Season 4 might just be like the first Dragons Rising season where it's like actually in the setting, and there's not too much more to explore other than things like the Whispering Wood, my bad. What was that weird city? Umbara, something like that. There's a lot of weird locations. That's the biggest part of Dragons Rising, is the team always splits and they always go and explore and find new things. That's just what Dragons Rising is. So we won't really be counting that as a factor. That's something that they wanted to define Dragons Rising as. And we'll talk about that more in Season 1 again. So let's go ahead and start off on the story of Dragons Rising Season 3. So the first episode is kind of just like smoothing everything out because Season 2 was left on a big cliffhanger, and it's showing where all the ninja are at after Eren disappeared and the Forbidden Five along with him, and of course Roz, which is a big part. We'll talk a little bit more about evil Eren and Roz. It's probably the main subject of this video, but Eren and Frack Sora and Frack, it would be Eren and Frack, but they try to make some pies together. There was a little explosion, and then Zane, this part never really made sense to me, but Zane saw the explosion, recorded the data, and, I don't know, like, processed the particles and used it to, like, the variables, define them. I don't really know, but somehow he found out where Eren could have gone when the portal was disrupted, and they were going to go to Cloud City, is where the portal originally led, but it was disrupted, it exploded, there was a whole thing, and Zane is considering that all of them got separated, and he has a pretty good idea of where Eren is, and that's where Episode 2 comes in, when the ninja go off and they're looking for them. And like I said, episode 2 is a little bit of filler, so we'll kind of just skip over that. But we do need to highlight that they meet the Dragonians, and they're just these peaceful dragons, right? And they get there just before the Forbidden Five get there. And when the Forbidden Five get there, they harass everybody there, and they attack the village of the peaceful Dragonians in the First Land. And they find this little cavern, and inside, it expands, and they find Thunderfang. And Thunderfang tells them to find these 5 prismatic blades, cut his chains, he'll be free, and he'll give them more power. Because there's a lot of lore that he gave them a ton of power, and that's how they originally got their artificial elemental powers. And that's a video within itself. I really like that concept of artificial elemental powers. I think that's cool. And I think Ninjago should expand on it a little more. I wanted more context on the Forbidden Five's powers, and that we should probably talk about. Just real quick, we'll probably talk about this more when we get to the bad stuff, but the Forbidden Five were not that great. And in part 2, they were just ghosts. It's really annoying, and we didn't get any context on their elemental powers. And, like, if I ask a couple friends, and they're not that involved in the show, but they have no idea what their powers are. They just see them, like, shoot these little lasers. I wanted to see Rocks use fear. Like, you don't really know what their powers are unless you actually, like, research and go on, like, Google, Wikipedia, certain things like that. It's really, really annoying. I wish their powers were at least called out or something like that, or made more obvious. Zark's, I guess it was the most obvious of all of them. Same thing with Drix. And then Brute Force for Nox. Like, just really uncreative, but I guess they are artificial elemental powers. Doesn't really make sense. I don't know, but back onto the story. Eren is with Roz, and Roz is dying, so they go to the Spectral Lands. And that's basically the Departed Realm and the Cursed Realm kind of mushed together or something like that. Which didn't really make sense to me because I thought the Cursed Realm was destroyed. So how could they get mixed together? There's just so much context I'm not really sure of. But they find Morrow there. And Morrow helps Eren get some elixir to heal Roz. And the whole arc with Eren and Roz, a lot of people don't like. I actually really appreciate it. I think it's one of the best ninja arcs. I just wish it lasted a little longer. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was a little brief. I feel like most of Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 1 just should have been focused on that. Like, the episode 2, like I said, is kind of filler. That whole episode could have just been dedicated to Roz and Eren. But I guess we do need some context, and we need to see that the ninja had a troubling journey trying to find them. But that's about where we're going to wrap it up, because I don't want to talk too much about the story on Dragon's Rising Season 3 Part 1. But they do end up freeing Thunderfang, and the Forbidden Five got killed. And then Eren finds out he can use the elixir to defeat Thunderfang. And then in Part 2, Thunderfang is back in the Spectral Lands, and he's using the Spectral Dragonians, which there's not a lot of context on that either. We kind of just have to assume that they got killed, which is a little dark, and that he's just using their ghost or something. I don't know. And then same thing with the Forbidden Five, which we did see them get killed, so that's kind of obvious. I don't know, there's just so much to discuss about Season 3. But, long story short, they defeat Thunderfang using the Ard Dragon of Focus again, and a lot of stuff happens in between. So, to make this video a little shorter, let's go ahead and stop right there and get into the good and the bad. So, I kind of already highlighted that. I don't have much to say on Dragon's Rising Season 3. There's not a lot to say. And, I mean, there's a couple things I could go over for the bad. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Forbidden Five. I have a lot of problems with that. But the Evil Eren arc is definitely the best part of Dragon's Rising Season 3. And I like the Rogue arc. That whole thing is pretty great. It makes a lot of sense. It feels smooth. It feels right. I mean, if we had more time in, like, seasons of Ninjago, I would want more for the Evil Eren arc, the Rogue arc. But those two things are definitely the best parts of Season 3. Another thing, Season 3 Part 2, the finale is actually really great. Like, there's a lot of, it's so intense. I really like it. They kind of heal the relationship between Eren and Lloyd, master and student, and that was pretty great. But I like how they separated kind of the newer ninja and the older ninja, of course, putting Lloyd and Eren together. But besides that, the newer ninja and the older ninja are together, or not together, they're separated, and they're each working on protecting these shards or something that have awoken each half of the Arc Dragon of Focus, because it's a weird two-headed dragon. I really have some complaints about that design, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I know that's not much of a hot take. I know a lot of people that have the same complaints, so I'm just going to leave it at that, fill in the blanks. And especially the Lego set. The Lego set looks horrible. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I need to stop. But, yeah, I hate the design. I don't know, I just feel like I could say that over and over and over. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things. And the temple bounty, that was kind of lame. I wanted to see like them building another bounty like in the old seasons. While that's kind of annoying in the old seasons, it would be kind of nostalgic, especially for a lot of older fans, older than me especially. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things I could say about Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2. Like I was saying about the Arc Dragon, the Temple Bounty. But, of course, the character arcs are some of the main things. And I really like the character arcs. I feel like they nailed them. But now we're going to get into the bad. And one of the worst aspects is definitely that wizard lady. I hate her. And more context on that in a little bit. Stay tuned. But I do just want to say, because I was going to talk about the Forbidden 5. I should save this for after we talk about the wizard lady. But I just want to go ahead and give a disclaimer since we were just on the good topics. The Forbidden 5 designs are really good. I really like them. I thought they were just going to do like the dark hooded designs that we see in Dragons Rising Season 2, which I would have liked a lot better. I don't know, if they all looked kind of like knocked, but I don't know, like the hooded designs just like look really sick, and I wish we got minifigures of those, because I would have liked that a lot better, and it would have made them feel mysterious. Yeah, but anyways, so the wizard lady, I don't even know her name. That's how much I hate her. She just ruined, or almost ruined. I said it was pretty good, so let me clarify this. She almost ruined the Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 2 finale. It was horrible because she was like a coconut or something with Nia. Like, it's just, those are the things where I'm like, why am I watching this again? Those are the things that make me second guess watching Ninjago. Like, I'm not even joking. It's just weird and disturbing. And it just messed up the plot a little bit. And, like, the whole Cyclops thing, like, it was just kind of like a filler kind of thing. It didn't make sense. And they could have given that focus to maybe Roz. I wanted to see more of Roz. And Roz in Season 3 Part 2 was really great as well. I only talked about him Season 3 Part 1, so I just want to highlight he was really good in that too. But then again, I wanted to see more of him, right? We did get to see him beat up everybody in the monastery, which doesn't include any of the ninja because Cole was hollowed. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Cole needs to do more. They kind of fixed that in Dragons Rising Season 4 Part 1, but for Dragons Rising, I kind of hate Cole and Zane. And then Jay, I think they revived him, and then they're about to bring him down again now that he's back with Nia, because the whole Jaya thing just gets a little annoying at times. It just gets a little in the way of Jay's character. Like, Masters of Spinjitzu Jay, it was just kind of funny, right? And it made sense. And I don't know, while it did get way more annoying in Masters of Spinjitzu, I just miss that Jay, like, that character that, like, can do things on his own. Like, I want to use Skybound as an example, but then again, that whole season was on their relationship, so that wouldn't make a lot of sense. But there are a lot of, like, standalone Jay moments in Skybound, so I feel like that I should highlight, just for clarification. There are a lot of good standalone moments. I know that is just on their relationship, though. But yeah, that's basically the bad. Of course, we need to talk a little bit more about the Forbidden 5. So their powers are kind of lazy, like I've already said. You know what? I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't trash talk the Forbidden 5 anymore. I trash talk them all the time. I just can't. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching this video. Yes, Dragons Rising Season 3 is just above Prime Empire. Kind of wanted to put it a little higher. And the next one, please watch the next episode. It's going to be a little controversial, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. What are your thoughts on Dragons Rising Season 3? I will see you guys in the next one.